Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome here to Martinsville Speedway for tonight's Black Magic Designs 175. My name is Robert Hill Jr. Joining me tonight is Chris Wright and Brent Jones. Guys, how you doing here tonight?
We're feeling great.
Well,
Yeah,
Chris,
we're
you're
doing
feeling
great.
great. You don't even have to answer. Brent said you're feeling great.
That's right. I'm feeling great. It's fun. Martinsville is my favorite racetrack. Based on the way things go in Elite, though, they're going to need some black magic to survive this thing tonight and make the playoffs.
Absolutely. Tonight here we have 175 laps, no stages, and just 4 sets of tires. So realistically, you may be only going to pit once or twice, depending on your fuel situation. We're going to have quite a few cautions, most likely, just the way that Martinsville typically goes. And, you know, tonight we are at the regular season finale. Unfortunately, you can't see the points very well there on the screen, but Tyler Fode is indeed locked in. What we're going to be looking at is that battle for the final 2 positions. Garrison Hogan and Matthew Weeks both just 2 points in, while they have Chad Frankenfield, Joe Francis, Trey Holmes, and Ty McIntosh, among others, on their heels here. So a lot to watch out for here tonight, guys, as qualifying has wrapped up. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at the starting grid here. Brent Jones, why don't you run us through the top 10 here?
All right, we have Tyler Fode in the 40 car on the pole tonight, followed by Trey Holmes in second, Jay Kanor in third, another strong call with that on the 9 car, Scott Crump fourth, David Tooker fifth, sixth Jacob Adams, seventh Gerald Campbell, eighth Ethan Stanley, ninth Andrew Hardcastle, a decent qualifying run for him, and 10th David Carpenter. Never could rule out him at these short tracks as well.
Absolutely. Chris, take us through to position number 20 here.
Yeah, first of all, I want to say a happy Easter to everybody. Hope your weekend was really, really good this past weekend as you sit down here to watch this elite race. But at 11th, we got Tyler Pop, Joe Francis, Seth Rawls, Hunter Smith, Josh Robin running up the top 15. And then right here is some cars we'll be watching very close tonight. We got Garrison Hogan in 16th, Josh Adams in 17th, Chad Frankenfield, who's just outside of the playoffs here, in 18th, 19th Michael Goodman, who could fall out tonight, but he has a decent gap, and Johnny Thomas rounding out the top 20.
21st tonight, we find Jonathan Cutlip alongside Matthew Weeks, one of our bubble drivers here, currently just in by 2 points. 1 point, actually. Dustin Dewar right there as well, 23rd. 24th, Michael Hosek. He was very strong in practice. Just an unfortunate slip up in qualifying. Mark Rebilas, Casey Hatch there, 25th, 26th. Justin Vandermeer, Kynan Jones, Ty McIntosh, Corey Abbott, and Brandon Key round out your 31 car field. As we head down to the racetrack here, you do see the pace car pulling off. We're going to hand it down to Barney the Flagman, who does have the green flag in hand, as the field is approaching the Geico restart zone for the first time here tonight. Tyler Fode, Trey Holmes going to lead them here. Green flag, and we are underway here at Martinsville.
Yeah, and now everybody's going to try to funnel down to the bottom, get in line, try not to get ran over. Head down into turn 3 for the first time. Fode's clear. The first side-by-side battle is Scott Crump with Gerald Campbell.
Scott Crump, Gerald Campbell, like you mentioned there, Chris, side-by-side for position number 5. Gerald currently holding that spot. Here's Jacob Adams coming into the picture here as well on the inside of Scott Crump. Lap number 2 already further than I anticipated we would go without a caution, so that's nice to see. Guys, before we do get that first yellow, why don't we go ahead and make some race picks here? We'll go ahead and start with Brent Jones.
I think Trey Holmes is going to win tonight. He's pretty much not a must-win, but he's got a solid piece, and, you know, you got to go with the upper hand sometimes when it matters.
Trey Holmes, the pick of Brent Jones here. Chris, who you calling out tonight?
I think if I had to pick a race winner based on practice, based on what I know about this racetrack, and getting to race with this guy a little bit more this season, being a teammate, I'm going to have to say Tyler Fode is going to be the guy to beat tonight. But as we've seen these races and the way the strategy goes and cautions and when you get them, one bad pit stop is all it takes, and find yourself back in the mess.
I think tonight's a night that we may see a bit of a surprise winner. Someone that will play the strategy and do what he has to do to get up to the front of the pack late in the race. I'm going to go with the Do Good Motorsports number 32 of Dustin Dewar here tonight. Actually, he already has some rear end damage, so somebody's been beating off Dustin Doer here tonight.
Yeah, and another car that we didn't mention that I'm going to go ahead and say is a sleeper for tonight, who's a really good short track racer, is Gerald Campbell. That's a guy that we'll have to keep an eye on tonight, and would not shock me at all to see Gerald get up there and find his way in victory lane.
Yeah, Gerald Campbell always strong here. There's certain
Ooh,
guys.
A little contact back here. Chad Frankenfield did a dive there on the 71. And
Chad to the inside of Dave Carpenter here. A little bit of contact up ahead. We saw some smoke around the Seth Rawls, Andrew Hardcastle machines there. Dave Carpenter, I think, just got another piece of the wall.
Yeah, Carp is trying to stay afloat here on that high line, and he's kind of going through a lot of people struggle with this track.
Yeah, we are 8 laps in, and you can see everybody's fighting for the bottom. Kind of single filed out, trying to take care of your tires. One thing about here is you want to keep the rears on the car, have that straight drive off. You do not want to, if you lose and blow your rear tires off the car here on the short run, the long run is not your friend. You just want to keep that thing planted and straight off the corner. As the 32 drives deep into the corner, gets into the back of the 44, and the 32 is going to spin.
Oh, no, stay on the brakes. Caution number 1 here tonight. Dustin Doer goes around. Of course, my pick always. I believe the 28 might be the car that got into Dustin Doer earlier on. Now, I didn't see it, so I can't call that a fact. But
32 is just going to miss the corner here.
Oh, he gets into his teammate, Michael Goodman, as well.
Not the
start for Do-Good right there. Dustin able to stay on the lead lap, which is a positive. Does look, yeah, right there. Nick Massey on the ball here tonight. Tally issue to the 32 of Dustin Doer. Guys, from experience, obviously, you know, I think we've all picked up tallies at some point in our elite career. Are short tracks the tracks that you really, really don't want to get any tallies because it is super easy to get another one?
I've learned after 7 seasons, it's probably best to get all your tallies at tracks that are closer together in racing than it is further apart because, yeah, they go away easier.
As for me, I don't race thinking about a tally. If you go out there racing thinking about a tally, you're not going to be aggressive enough. You're not going to make the right moves, and sometimes you got to make that move that it might not look like it'll work, but you got to try it. As you know, that Chad Frankenfield mentality all the time. There, you know, just gonna send it. I don't send it every time, but you just can't think about tallies when you're out there racing. In my opinion, if you start thinking about tallies, you're not maximizing what you can get out of the race car.
Yep, and especially when it's on a night like tonight where emotions are really gonna run high. You know, and I think I went through this doldrum in the Cup race about a month or so ago. You gotta leave your emotions at the gate when you join the session. This is easy a track that could frustrate you and end your night just as fast over stuff like that.
Tyler Fode does continue to lead here on lap number 12. 1 caution so far, so you know what? Not a terrible start, honestly, guys, considering what we've seen previously at Martinsville. We've had some races, I believe, where we were 28 cautions or something along those lines. Obviously a longer race, but those always seem to take a long time. One guy I do want to point out again, we usually do point him out, Chad Frankenfield started back in the 18th position, currently in 11th right now. Chad has to capitalize here tonight. He has to gain a ton of points. He's only 1 point out, but everyone's going to be so close here.
Yeah, and the pace car is off.
Pace car is indeed off, Chris, as we see Barney the Flagman with that green back in hand. Tyler Fode, Jay Kaner leading the field back to the green flag. Jay makes a quick move
stack up in the
to the bottom here. A bit of a stack up, like you mentioned, all behind Trey Holmes here from about 3rd on back.
Oh, Chad's going to get tagged. He tried to close the door on the 25. And the 25 is...
Oh, no. Seth is stuck.
And we got a spinner over here. Is it Kenyon Jones? Kenyon Jones over there?
Kenyon Jones does go around. He's able to get his car back moving. We stay under green. Seth Rawls is absolutely annihilated right there. Let's see if we can get a look here on the RebilasPhoto.com replay machine. I'm going to back that up a little bit further here. Seth, I think, gets in a little bit hot. He does get into the back of Ethan Stanley.
Well, that right there was a stack up. Ethan tried to come in. That's typical restart of Martinsville trying to get to the bottom.
100%. And then, Seth.
Chad just tries to come down.
No, Seth drove hard, and I think got into Chad.
Yeah,
I think that's a racing
tough.
deal. Chad's trying to get to the bottom. The 25's trying to keep him from getting to the bottom.
That does look like a racing deal to me. It's just unfortunate for Seth because there's
Chad
not a lot of forgiveness here.
And then come down, and the 25 actually was the first one to the brakes down there.
Actually, you know what I'm seeing there, Chris and Brent, looking at the replay, it almost looks to me as if Chad had a really low brake bias with the way that the rear end kind of stepped out on braking. I think that might have played a part in that. Jake Kaner gets a little bit loose off of turn number 4. We do stay under green. Kynan Jones was able to get going again after his little incident. We'll see if we can pull that one up on the RebilasPhoto.com replay machine. See what happened to Kynan Jones. I think it might have been just a little bit of a domino effect reaction here. You see Kynan on the outside of Corey Abbott. Up there, Brandon
I think somebody
Key.
just spun off of 4, but I don't know who it was. There was a bunch of smoke when the leaders came through.
Michael Hossack,
Yeah,
I do believe, was involved. Let's see if we can back that up a little bit manually here. See what happened. Yeah, Michael Hossack with a bit of contact from Mark Rebilas.
It's like the officiating from the Bristol race last night. They're kind of picking and choosing when they're going to throw this yellow flag.
As you see now, guys, just ahead of Tyler Fode, that is the lap car of Kynan Jones. Mark Rebilas not too far ahead. So this is where things get interesting at Martinsville. When you try to work your way through these lapped cars, you don't necessarily know where they're going to go, as you don't really have a ton of options.
Yep. Yeah, and one thing about this track, all French Bristol, is it's so hard to get out of the way of the lap car here. It's so easy to cause an issue if you're not aware. And also, no, Frank Hossack has left the session.
Yeah, they're loading that machine up and heading home. That was a crazy restart there, boys, from Martinsville. That was
100% was. You know, obviously we've all been in many Martinsville races, and just that's kind of how they go. You get the stack ups and you get the chain reaction incidents that usually end up causing a couple wrecks, and it's just.
Oh, Josh Adams is around that.
He's around. It's going down. That's going to be a yellow.
Still under green. Josh Adams on the bottom here.
Looks like I'm going to watch the replay. There's the yellow.
Yeah, Adams does go and intentionally bring out the yellow there.
Looks like the same.
There was really nothing he could do unless he towed.
Yeah.
Be interesting to see how that's called by race control there. But looking at the Josh Adams incident, I believe it was a solo spin there.
That was like he got hot in the braking, kind of like Chad did earlier, and just looped it around.
Watching that 56 machine of Josh Adams, goes for a little bit of a deeper entry into the corner, ends up going around, gets onto the curbing, and then nowhere he could really go here. Just waiting for an opportunity to get back on the racetrack. First opportunity comes up. It is right in front of Mark Rebilas and the leaders, but I think that was the only opportunity Josh really had there. So, yeah, as you see, tally issued to the 56 of Josh Adams. We should have a lucky dog coming up for Kynan Jones. There he goes around the pace car and our race leader, Tyler Fode there. Top 10 now, Tyler Fode, Jay Kaner, Trey Holmes, David Tooker, Gerald Campbell as Trey Holmes comes, he blinks. Scott Crumpin 6th, Tyler Pop 7th, Ethan Stanley 8th, Jake Adams 9th, Chad Frankenfield up inside the top 10. Some interesting positioning here on the racetrack. Chad Frankenfield currently in the playoffs by 2 points over Matthew Weeks. Garrison Hogan would be 1 point ahead of Chad Frankenfield here. And these guys are all running together right now. Do we see potentially some drama in the field early in this thing? Or do we wait and play it out late?
I don't think so, not yet.
I think there's too much to lose doing something early.
But to hammer home here, Josh Adams, it might not be the night he wants, as he's already going to be a lap down. I mean, he could come back from that; it would be nothing. But
He's locked
even
in,
if he
though.
has a bad night, yeah, he's locked into the playoffs and whatnot. So.
Now, guys, as we are under caution here, coming up tomorrow night on the Elite Racing Network is the 2023A Elite All-Star Race. I don't think any of us are locked into that event, but all are going to be trying to race our way in.
That's right. There's an open right before that we'll get to be a part of, so try to get in. And I believe Jeff Green has won the fan vote for that.
I do believe so. It ended up being all do-goods, so there might have been some
I didn't even
ballot
get
box
I didn't
stuffing.
even get the name into the fan vote. I didn't even know.
I think Chad sent it to his friends, and that's a very select group, so...
Yeah.
I'm
you
not
two
too
are racing
sure.
it. I'm working the cash register tomorrow at the store.
Brent Jones going to be working that cash register. If you want to buy any cash, be sure to let him know.
Please just pay in small bills.
And an update from Ethan Burrell, actually. Trey Holmes currently holding the final playoff spot, not Chad Frankenfield.
Like I said, he needs a really big night, and he's so far delivering.
We're going to ride on board with Trey Holmes on this restart. Let's see what a Martinsville restart looks like. These things are pretty darn crazy, as you see Tyler Fody, Jay Kaner up there trying to get ready to pounce at the beginning of the Geico restart zone. Tyler Fody holds on just a little bit here. Trey gets a nice
wheel
jump.
spin out of Campbell there. Gerald Campbell got some wheel spin.
Joe Campbell still up in the 5th position.
Little bumper tag back there, just like we saw last restart. As everybody tries to get to the bottom.
Oh,
contact with Gerald. Gerald
David
into
Tooker, a
Tooker.
little bit of contact there. Scott Crump on the outside. David Tooker now in the 4th position, chasing down Trey Holmes. We're going to have to watch a little bit further back here as Chad enters the picture now. Nearly contact between Ethan Stanley.
Gerald
100% knew that was
he
coming right
saves
there.
it.
What a save. I don't know. Oh, Gerald. Oh, Gerald. Oh, Gerald.
he's gonna come around.
Oh, maybe not.
Oh. And he dies. Casey Hatch, Kynan Jones also involved in an incident there. As we take a look at that, first on the RebilasPhoto.com replay machine, you see Kynan Jones in the middle lane, Casey Hatch on the bottom there, Andrew Hardcastle up top. I do believe Casey's just going to get in a little hot. I stand corrected. Ooh, never mind.
Yeah,
I
the
don't.
Jones machine is still sitting over there. He is stuck on the curb.
Kynan Jones
there he goes.
stuck on
He's
the
out.
curb there. See what happened to Gerald Campbell. But I do want to back this up a little bit further. There was something that caught my eye between these two right here. Watch Gerald here move up. Barely any room ahead of Ethan Stanley. And then Ethan just gives him a huge bump into the corner.
You know what, though? You know who was the most pucker factor right there? Was Scott Crump.
Oh, Scrumpy was definitely puckering right there. Let's see if we can get a look at Scott Crump.
And Gerald, I think, was the caution there on the front stretch.
It did trigger from Gerald from what I'm seeing here. Yeah, as you see,
all
Gerald,
this happens, he gets it caught.
Gerald actually gets contact from Tyler Pop after saving it, which is what brings out the yellow. So that's very interesting here.
And I'll tell you this, from what I seen right there on the front stretch, Gerald saved the field. Gerald had that thing hooked back to the
100%.
right, and if he did not turn back to the left, that would have been a pack accident on the front stretch.
Yep,
But Gerald
indeed.
turned that thing back to the left and just said, I'm going to sacrifice my own race car to make sure I don't wreck 20 guys here on the front stretch.
Yeah, his rear tires were already cooked at that point from the first save, and he tried getting it back going
Let's
again.
see if we can ride on board with Gerald here. Watch his
Yeah,
wheel inputs. We'll back that up
Yeah,
just a little
it's-
bit further. That's
This isn't what
intense.
brought the caution out. What brought the caution out's what happened over on the front stretch.
Like I said, Chris, I think he
Racing incident number 31 got used up twice.
already.
I
So
love
he's going to
that.
come off right here. And this is where he's going to have to start doing some driving. He's trying to get back on.
His
the
rears were
car-
already cooked at that point.
Look at him Look at him steering the heck out of that thing. A Chad ton of inputs.
Now, right there, he had it hooked back to the right. This is where I thought he was going to get 20 cars. And he just, look how much he's turning that thing back to the left.
That wheel is upside down, guys. That is not angled to the right. It is 100% upside down.
And like I said, his rears were pretty
Wow.
cooked in the first save, so he was trying to get back on to stay up there, and it probably just broke loose on him in that transition there.
Credit to Gerald for that one, guys. Obviously, you know, he did a nice job trying to save it. I'm not giving him credit for the incident because that was a racing incident, no tally issued. But credit to Gerald for avoiding a much larger disaster there. He's still on the racetrack. He's actually still on the lead lap as well. So not too much damage to the nose of the 31. Still potential for a half-decent finish for him.
And the Seth
Rawls
machine.
as well. Seth just
He
got
just
a wave
got-
by.
That's right. Back on the lead lap. It's missing
you
a little
never-
bit of the front end.
You know
Yeah.
what, though, Chris and Brett? This right here, that doesn't matter.
Yep.
This is
RC, I think-
Martinsville.
Yep, indeed. I think RC nearly won a race here, I think last season with no front clip and down like a shit.
Yeah, I think he had-
No. I almost said it. Down a lot of horsepower.
Well, you did, but Chad ton of horsepower missing from that machine as the green flag is back in the air. We'll watch the field take off here. Dustin Tour with the lane change back there, but nobody around him for that to really matter too much. Trey Holmes gets a nice jump on the inside
Jacob
of
Adams.
Jake Keener. Brent losing his mind here on Jake Adams. Jake running on the outside of Josh Robin, just behind Johnny Thomas. Johnny Thomas.
Ooh, Jay Canor just tried to chop the 90, I believe.
Ooh.
Johnny Thomas's rear end looks like a croissant here, guys. I don't know
Looks
if
like
you've
it
had a
went belly
chance
up
to
over
see
his
it.
Taking a dive underneath Chad.
Oh,
Chad tries to throw the
Deuce,
ball.
he's gonna save it.
Matthew
Oh, and
Weeks.
Johnny's turn. It's going to stay green.
Staying green here. Johnny Thomas does rejoin the field. 3 wide. They all get through it there. So nice job. Nearly an incident between Dave Carpenter and Conan Jones, but Johnny Thomas able to save his car. Matthew Weeks able to save his as well. Chad Frankenfield now up into the 6th position, chasing down David Tooker for that 5th spot. I see Dave Carpenter losing some spots here. Looks like he's getting used up just a little bit
Yep.
back there. Johnny
high line
Thomas,
again.
Josh Adams trying to work their way back up. 2 pretty quick cars here that had some early misfortunes, trying to make up for it now. As you see Josh Adams. Oh, Conan Jones into Dave Carpenter.
And Kanyan's around. That's
And
gonna
he's
be a problem.
around and
Conan Jones goes around. Green flag still out here.
Oh, it's Chad Frankenfield. Chad Frankenfield is wrecked down here in turn 2.
And your complications.
Chad, was Brandon Key involved in that one?
It looks like Chad just lost it all on his own down into 1.
Because all I saw on the indicator was that Brandon Key pit. That's why I was wondering. Watching the 15 of Chad Frankenfield here, running right tight against the wall, down into turn number 1.
Yep. same
He
thing that
enters
happened earlier in the
way
race.
too high.
I think these guys were having, from what I understand, there was a lot of front wheel lockup problems in practice. And they dialed a lot of rear brake into these cars to get it where it wouldn't lock the left front up. And one of the effects of that is what we just saw there with Chad.
So as per my screen here, the caution did come out as a result of Chad Frankenfield, not the Conan Jones incident, but now Chad losing a ton of spots coming down pit road here. Currently in the 23rd position, was all the way up nearly in the top 5. As you see Tyler Fody leading here. Caution number 4, lap 45 of 175. So good timing so far.
So now if you're Chad, you're probably thinking about the tallies. Because Chad can't pick up another tally, and he's got to come through this traffic.
It's gonna be dicey. Remember, he's only like 1 point out, so if he gets parked, it's over for him.
With the way that the racing has progressed so far, guys, obviously we've seen a lot of guys overcook the corners. Are you continuing to do what you've been doing all night long? or you may be looking at re-strategizing a little bit here. Back up your corners. Try to get them on the long run. As you see, Nick Massey just issued a tally to the 15 of Chad Frankenfield, which we saw on the RebilasPhoto.com replay machine.
I'm not changing nothing if I'm up here at the front. Like, the other guy spinning out has got no effect on what you're doing, or, you know, if you're doing what's comfortable to you, that's what you got to keep doing. You know, you can't start changing it based on. I mean, the only time I'll change something based on what I see happening to other people is if it's Daytona or Talladega and maybe the pushes or something like that with the bump draft. But as far as places like this, you can't. And just to make the note of it here, Josh Adams is back on the lead lap now, getting that lucky dog.
Big move there for Josh Adams, getting back on the lead lap. I do have to give a shout out to our presenting partner of this race here tonight, Black Magic Designs. Black Magic Designs is a small team of custom iRacing painters and photographers dedicated to a quality customer service experience. With paints starting as low as $15 per car, find us on Facebook or Discord, Black Magic Designs, where the paint is worth 2/10. Be sure to check out Black Magic Designs. Thank you to them for their partnership here tonight. This is the Rebilas Photography Grand National Series. Visit RebilasPhoto.com for all your photography needs. Here we go. It is Tyler Fody, Trey Holmes on the front row here at Martinsville in the Black Magic Designs 175. Caution number 4 has just been completed. We are green once again. Ooh. Tyler Fody on the loud pedal. Trey Holmes does not get going there. Scott Crump with a nice jump on the inside. Holmes gets swallowed up by David Tooker as well. Falls back to the 4th position. Look for Tooker to clear up in front of Trey Holmes, and Trey Holmes to get back in line and try to start working back as Jay Kaner and Ethan Stanley nearly come together there.
They got Abbott up in the high groove.
I think he's letting them go. I think Abbott moved up and was trying to fall back there.
All right, 10-4 on that.
Corey Abbott falling back. Chad Frankenfield 3 wide between Dustin Dewar and Dave Carpenter right there. Chad not afraid to go 3 wide, even though he just caused a caution. And one thing to point out, people, Chad already has 1 tally. If he forces another one here, causes another one, he is done for the race, done for the season, as he would not qualify for the playoffs. As you see the 15 machine go around Michael Goodman, he is absolutely killing these tires as well, which is something that may come into play a little bit later. Ty McIntosh, Brandon
what a
Key
save.
Get together there. Hell of a save right there as Chad continues to charge on the outside. This is insane what some of these guys are doing. Gerald Campbell now rejoins the pack, gets on the outside of Justin Vandermeer. Looks like we have a battle for position here. Jay Kaner, Jacob Adams, as Jay nearly gets into the back of Trey Holmes. Ethan Stanley clears Trey Holmes. Gerald Campbell again falling just a little bit here. Corey Abbott to the rear.
I gotta tell you, what I'm seeing Chad be able to do right now, this shows me that new tires are worth something. Typically they aren't at these short tracks, but new tires are worth quite a bit.
Chad has already gained, I believe, about 10 positions since the restart, so that is pretty massive. As he's going around Jonathan Cutlip right now, and Cutlip is not a slouch out here on these racetracks. He's pretty darn strong, as Chad Frankenfield makes it look fairly easy up on the outside. Of course, about 50 lap newer tires, so that's definitely something to watch. Tyler Pop, Hunter Smith get together. Ooh, Chad nearly turns Tyler Pop right there.
Yeah, and for the most part, Chad's done his work on the outside. He has been on the outside just passing him just because he's faster.
Tyler Pop and Hunter Smith. Hunter Smith on the curbing there. Yes, there is racing going on towards the front, but this is one heck of a drive we're watching right here with Chad Frankenfield. He's just very fast.
Got multiple people on the cut line right now around the top 50, around this part of the field.
This is one heck of a grouping at the front, though. Tyler Fody, Scott Crump, David Tooker, all basically under a blanket here. Oh, Chad. Brent Jones just gave us an Chad. What's going on with Chad, Brent?
Looks like he just got suddenly loose off of 4. He gathered back up, obviously. He didn't lose really any spots, but that was a close call there.
Chad still running in the 12th position. We're looking here at the 5th place car, Jacob Adams, chasing down the Ethan Stanley machine. Biggest mover of the race thus far, Matthew Weeks up 15 spots, followed by Ty McIntosh and Brandon Key, both up 13 respectively. Unfortunately, the biggest mover the opposite way, Andrew Hardcastle, down 20 positions from the start of tonight's race, currently running P29.
Oh, Josh Robin just lost. He saved it. What a save by Robin. Oh, did he save it?
Still catching it. He did catch it. Great job. Like Brent Jones said just a few moments ago, there's been some great driving here tonight. Yes, we've had contact. We've had guys get sideways. But we really have not had as many cautions as we potentially could have so far.
And we still have about 115 to go here.
115 to go when they cross the line here. There we go. 115 laps remaining at Martinsville. The Black Magic Designs 175. It is Scott Crump and Tyler Fode side by side for the race lead. Crump on the inside, Fode on the outside here. As you see, David Tooker just behind them. Tooker looking for an opportunity to join that battle, and not too far behind is Ethan Stanley, Jacob Adams, and Garrison Hogan, one of those drivers going for a playoff spot. One thing to point out, Trey Holmes restarted on the outside of the front row last restart. Now finds himself back in 8th behind the likes of Matthew Weeks and Garrison Hogan. So Trey going to have to do a bit of work here and pick up his boots if he wants an opportunity to make the 2023A playoffs.
Yeah, and I think the next caution here, we're probably going to see everybody pit who hasn't pitted yet. We might see Chad stay out, try to flip the strategy. We might see Gerald stay out, Josh Adams.
So far, the only car, actually, I do believe, in the top
Gerald,
17.
Right? Gerald and Josh?
Top 17 is only Chad so far. Josh and Gerald have indeed pit. They currently run 18th and 19th, where Chad is currently 11th. So Chad has really made these tires work.
Yeah,
Garrison Hogan back here.
Oh, Chad's got into the wall, though. He's still bouncing
Chad's
off the
gotten
wall.
into the wall a few times here, Chris, over the last couple laps. I think he's trying to push a little bit too hard. Dustin Doer, caution number 2 for him tonight. Let's see here on the Rebilas photo replay machine. See what happened. Looks like Dustin Doer on the outside, Seth Rawls on the inside. I think Dustin's going to go around by himself. And Rebilas gets into him. That is tally number 2 for Dustin Doer. I do believe, obviously, has not been issued yet. But look at these guys.
Here we go, pit stops.
Scott Crump stays out. Tyler Fode, David Tooker, they come down pit road, as does pretty much everyone else. Chad stays out, and Crump.
Adams is staying out.
Gerald pits. Looks like the few cars to stay out here. Scott Crump, Chad Frankenfield, Josh Adams, Johnny Thomas. Everyone else comes down pit road. Caution number 5 here, lap 67. We are going to take a quick commercial break here, take a pit stop ourselves. We'll be back in about 2 minutes' time here in the Black Magic Designs 175.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
We are back here at Martinsville Speedway. It's the Black Magic Designs 175. Looks like we just had an incident under caution. Andrew Hardcastle stopped on the racetrack, letting everyone by. You just heard from our friends at iRacing.com, as well as our premier partner, TA Services, one of our great partners alongside Blue Egg Marketing, the marketing department for small businesses, small business owners. Blue Egg is your biggest fan. Worldwide Technology Raceway is a motorsport racing facility in Madison, Illinois, home to a 1.25-mile oval, a 2-mile road course, quarter-mile drag strip, and a state-of-the-art karting facility known as the Kartplex. Check out Worldwide Technology Raceway today, and of course, Rebilasphoto.com for all your photography needs. And once again, thank you to Black Magic Designs for their support tonight. Check them out on Facebook and Discord for all your paint and photography on iRacing needs. Thank you to everyone for tuning in, as well as Scott Crump, going to lead the field to green here on old tires. Gets a pretty decent start, actually.
Yeah, it looks like he brought him pretty far down into the box here, but we're going to see these guys on old tires are going to get swallowed up
Contact
pretty
David
quick.
Tooker, Josh Adams. Tooker falling back. We're going to watch Scott Crump here. Chad Frankenfield up into that second spot, side by side. Johnny Thomas, Josh Adams. Continuing to watch the leader here, Scott Crump, see how quickly he will get swallowed up. 104
What's
laps
working
to go.
for him right now is side by side, Johnny Thomas and Josh Adams. These guys on tires can't go anywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a bit of a wall there around third, preventing the likes of David Tooker, Tyler Fode, Garrison Hogan, Jake Adams to have the opportunity to work their way forward. And Scott's actually held his own so far, about a half second ahead of Chad Frankenfield.
I'm very interested to see how this is going to shake out. The battle for third is where everything's going to come from. And Tooker being Josh's teammate is probably not going to force the issue. And so without him forcing the issue, it's going to be on Johnny probably to make a mistake.
Tyler Fode into Johnny Thomas.
Ooh. And there it is. Now the tires are going to come through.
There's Garrison Hogan clearing his way through.
All it takes sometimes here is that incidental. We got
Mark Rebilas. How is that a caution?
I was gonna say it takes one single contact to sometimes clear that.
Oh, I guess there's a
blockage
field
up.
there.
Oh, Josh Robin, I believe, is going to pick this tally up.
Rebilas on the outside. Robin in Rebilas' car. Sends Mark around. Caution number 6.
There's a lot of good places, I think, to take pictures at around this Martinsville Speedway. You look over there on the back stretch, down into 3, sitting out there on that hillside. Lots of good spots down there to get some good photos.
Absolutely, and if you're looking for photography or an iRacing paint scheme, be sure to check out Black Magic Designs over on Facebook or Discord. If you're looking for a paint scheme, they start as low as $15 per car. And Black Magic Designs, where the paint is worth 2/10, guys. If you're looking for a little bit more speed, check out Black Magic Designs. Scott Crump, Chad Frankenfield, Josh Adams, David Tooker, Garrison Hogan, top 5. Then we find Johnny Thomas, Ethan Stanley, Tyler Fode, Jacob Adams, Trey Holmes, the top 10 there. As Mark Rebilas was our latest caution. I do believe the tally will likely go on the 8 of Josh Robin, though, as we saw on the Rebilasphoto.com replay machine.
Yeah, and while we're sitting here, I want to give a shout out to everybody at Elite Racing Network there, yourself included there, Bobby. You guys do a whole lot here for us, and of course Dave does a ton. He's not here with us tonight, but I'm sure he's wherever he's at, he's watching and keeping up with it. And we couldn't do anything at Elite Racing Network without Dave's guidance, that's for sure. And shout out to Chad for all the leagues he puts on. Like you said, we got the Open and the All-Star race tomorrow, and then Wednesday night, full distance, 600 miles from Charlotte. Are you guys ready for that one?
Oh, we're absolutely ready.
Mentally, yes. Physically, who knows?
Well, at least this is not the race to be racing. I will be racing after getting a tooth pulled. That'll be next week.
Well, Brent, if you'd like, I can go grab a wrench and maybe pull out a couple molars or something off you.
You're not doing that, Robert. It's just gonna make things more expensive.
I'm basically a doctor. Well, I guess I'm not.
Is that how they teach medicine in Canada?
Yeah, as long as you know how to spell your own name, you can be a doctor. That's why healthcare's free. Guys,
Not even gonna catch that.
almost at the halfway point here. Has there been any surprises that you've noticed so far? Maybe something you didn't expect?
I did not expect tires to mean as much as they are. We've seen these guys on fresh tires be able to run through the field, and I know right now everybody's saying, well, the whole field got new tires except for those front four, but those guys stay side by side, and there was 2 respectable guys behind them. But now tires are going to restart in the second row, and Johnny's lost some track position. We're about to see these new tires really eat these guys up, so I did not anticipate tires being as important. So maybe you catch a caution with 25 to go, might want to give up the track position for tires.
I'm gonna give credit to Joe Francis. I know he's 2 points down to the night, but he's been holding strong around the top 10 and not slightly out of it all night so far.
We'll see if Scott brings him down as far this time, too, as we get ready for the green flag. Yes, he's going to bring him way down again. Gets him a great launch.
Great jump by Scott Crump. They're able to clear ahead. Oh, I hear a lot of beating and banging already. I don't know where that's coming from. Literally nowhere. Okay.
Just typical contact down into the corner.
It sounded intense.
It sounded like a stack
Oh,
of
Johnny
tabs.
Thomas
Oh,
just grabbed a
Gerald.
big piece. Something's going on around Josh Robin back here, guys. He got a piece of the wall, able to gather that back up. I believe that might have been a domino effect from Brent Jones. Oh, Gerald! That we just heard a moment ago. As you see Josh Adams on the inside of Garrison Hogan. Ethan Stanley, I thought, was about to go 3 wide. That would have been a little scary there.
Yeah, I think Ethan looked to the bottom, then he looked to the top, and kind of just had to sit there.
Little battle here. Joe Francis on the inside of Hunter Smith. Brent Jones mentioned Joe Francis not too long ago. It's really nice to see Joe out here in the Elite Racing League. Haven't really seen him too much before this season, and it's really nice to see him back racing with these guys.
Yeah, every time I see what car Joe drives, it's little Ryan Gavel Designs kind of car.
Barbecue chips.
Nearly contact between Garrison Hogan and Chad Frankenfield there as they battle for the 3rd position behind David Tucker. Scott Crump still holding about a 6/10 of a second lead over David
Josh
Tucker.
Adams.
Oh, Adams and Stanley, they're going to carry it down to... Oh,
Oh, here we
Jake
go.
Adams, Johnny Thomas, this is our pack.
Oh,
action.
he just killed my boy. Oh, Josh. Guys, we're green.
No caution.
I really do not know how we're green for all that.
What in the world just happened? How are we still green? Jake Adams. Jake Adams, I think, has catastrophic damage in that 52. He's fallen way back.
Like he
Yeah,
might
he's
have
coming.
caught-
He's coming down pit road. I think his car's broke. Yeah, it's crab walking.
Yeah, he got wheel damage out of that, or rear end damage. Yeah, he just got... Yeah.
Brent Jones or Chris Wright. I don't know if you guys can check, but battle for the lead shaping up here. Scott Crump just chased David Tucker all the way down, as we saw Chad do with I forget who it was previously, but that was not a good move here. David Tucker likely to get into the back of Crump. Yeah, things are heating up, boys. Get your flaming hot Cheetos, get your Takis. It's about to get hot in here.
Oh, he's going to... Oh!
David Tucker. Here comes Garrison Hogan. Scary Gary up into second on the inside of David Tucker. He's looking for a shot at Scott Crump as well.
It's just that patience thing I was talking about earlier.
What's patience, Brent?
I don't know.
Patience? We back at the doctor's office here?
I don't know. I'm not scheduled till next Tuesday.
Brent Jones.
And you gotta hate that for Jacob Adams there too. That was his race there. You know, he was the innocent bystander that just got knocked out of the race for something that he was not really in the beginning stages of.
Yep. All the good thing about that though is he was locked into this race, so I'm sure it doesn't hold a lot of weight, but it will. It's a big bruising to his.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, there, he saves it. Oh, he gets into Garrison. Smith, less secondhand cars for us next season.
Hey, boys, there's a big development here for playoffs. Look at the front end of the Matthew Weeks machine. He was involved in the big wreck on the backstretch for no yellow. There was a bunch of cars involved in that. I can't believe it wasn't a yellow. We had Josh Adams and Ethan Stanley go down into the garage area. Jake Adams got churned. Johnny Thomas got collected. Matthew Weeks also got collected in that wreck.
Things are heating up here at Martinsville Speedway. We just saw contact between Scott Crump as well as Garrison Hogan to bring out caution number 7 here tonight on lap number 94. That was quite the incident, boys.
Yeah, that was a big, very eventful sequence there for the last couple laps there.
So we watch Matthew Weeks here. He's currently running in that 3rd position. Going to stay out with the nose damage that he does have. That thing looking a little bit like a modified in the front, a croissant in the back. What? That car's looking a little worse for wear, boys.
Yeah, but the good news is his right front should be cooler now.
But you know what? Somebody that was just recently looking like that and now finds himself up in 8th with a nose on his car, Seth Rawls. What a recovery by that number 25 Shift Esports machine with Drop Dimes sponsoring that one. Seth Rawls designs as well on that car. One heck of a drive for him.
Drama in the chat.
We definitely won't touch on the drama too much.
Yeah, I agree.
But as we listen to some sights and sounds here at the Martinsville Speedway, we'll be right back in just a minute's time. And we're about to go green here once again. David Tooker, Tyler Fody on the front row. Bit of wheel spin, guys. Oh, we have another wreck. Oh, it's a big one. It's a big one, guys.
This is huge, boys.
That's a parking lot.
That's a lot of cars involved. I'm not even going to name who's involved. I'm going to name who's not involved. David Tooker, Tyler Fody, Matthew Weeks, and I think that's about it. Everyone else, I think, pretty much involved. They're still wrecking down the back straightaway. That's one massive incident here at Martinsville Speedway. And Chris, it does look like Jacob Adams is standing by. I'm going to go ahead and bring him up here, and you can go ahead and have a quick discussion with Jake.
Hey, Jake, man, you were on a path tonight that looks like to have a pretty decent run. You had tires trying to make your way through, and we actually talked about it a little bit. You were an innocent bystander in what happened there, but take us through your night and how good your car was, and ultimately it doesn't matter now.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to talk to you before the race, but I qualified 6th. They were going to know I was there tonight. We drove up to 4th before the mayhem ensued, and felt really good about it. And pack accident happens. Out of my control.
Could you see anything that started it, or have any opinion on what happened there? You know, I don't know what you could see from where you were.
Well, yeah, I was looking on Fody myself. Was going to try and get that spot. Josh was on old tires, and he was kind of running about a half a lane up or whatever. And for whatever reason, Ethan Stanley decides that he wants to look in the middle of the corner. He knows that Josh is on old tires. He could have probably just waited and got him on the backstretch, but tried to shove it in there, hit the bump down there, and kind of caused all that. And then nobody else behind me could see. I get turned across the track. It's not fun.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if you're still in here watching or not, but do you have any opinion on what we just seen here? Your wreck we thought was the pack accident, but right here we just had a parking lot wreck down here on this restart.
Yeah, and I didn't get a chance to see this one, but the cautions don't seem very consistent on iRacing's part tonight, so not surprised that mine wasn't a caution and this one was.
Yeah, we actually talked about that a little bit ago. It's like what we watched last night at Bristol, where one time it's a caution, one time it's not. You know, and on here it's not up to a person to throw the yellow; it's up to the sim. So I've not seen that before at this place. So I'm not sure if they reworked something or what, but. What is your opinion on the cautions tonight? We saw cars sitting still backwards for a full lap and no yellow.
Yeah, I was kind of confused about that too. The one time that Josh had the self-spin was sitting up out of the groove, and we came by him and finally got the yellow about a lap and a half later or whatever it was, and then I get turned across the track and I'm sideways looking back at the entire pack. 6 cars hit me, no caution. But we have self-spin cautions where there's no contact and we get yellows. So I've never seen it here before. Normally a car goes sideways here at Martinsville. It's to caution. So I don't know.
Well, Jake, we hate to see this happen to you, but it could be worse. Obviously, you're locked into the playoffs. You'll be racing next week and racing for a championship the rest of the elite season. So what's your outlook here? As we got 1 to go, so we'll have to wrap this up here pretty quick. But what's your outlook on the playoff, and any tracks you got circled for a place to make some noise?
I honestly have no idea what the schedule looks like going forward, but we're just going to show up and try and qualify top 10 and get after it.
Well, all right, Jake, thanks for giving us time tonight. It was fun getting to talk to you. And, well, real quick before we let you get out of here, who helps make it happen for you tonight?
Yeah, just my team, Mountain Man Motorsports. We're really trying to get them a victory lane tonight. And then also want to throw a shout out your way. I know Christine's going through a health issue now, so we're thinking about her.
Well, I appreciate that, and you know, hopefully everything works out with that, and hopefully everything works out with your season as well. And we got a race to finish up here at Martinsville, because we have 70 laps to go here, and the restart has just ensued. David Tooker has gotten away over Tyler Fody. Matthew Weeks, who has no front end on his race car, is still sitting up there in the 3rd position.
Yeah, Matthew Weeks up there in 3rd. Seth Rawls was looking like Matthew Weeks not too long ago. He's running in the 5th spot.
There's 7, 8, 9 cars with no noses. I mean, it's...
Gerald Campbell just had an incident. He's around. He gets it going again. We'll stay green. Not sure what happened with Gerald. I did hear, unfortunately, though, Trey Holmes has called it a night with extensive damage on his number 88 machine. And
Joe Francis is also in the pit still.
Joe Francis also on pit road, as is Jake Adams, who we just heard from there. I spoke with Justin Vandermarl under the caution, and although he has quite a bit of damage, he still thinks he can get a good finish here tonight. So watch for that number 5 machine for Fueled Up Racing to try to get it done here, as you see him battling with Mark Rebilas, who's now up in 13th after being in a few incidents tonight. So just goes to show you what can happen here at Martinsville, guys, and literally anything can happen as long as you can keep your car relatively clean. Jake Adams rejoining the field, though.
I think there's only 2 cars out here with no damage. I think everybody else is missing either the front clip or the rear clip, looking at this field. I was thinking
I wouldn't
that
even say
Josh Adams was clean because he has a front clip, but then he's missing a rear clip.
I wouldn't even say no damage, because, like you say, a guy like Josh Adams, well, he has nose damage. because he did hit the wall
That's pretty
earlier.
wide here with Rebilas and
Oh, his nose looks good. He don't have no rear on that thing.
Yeah, he's missing a rear panel. That's all right. He doesn't need that.
Dale Jr. says that makes the cars faster.
Yeah, oh, Jay Kaner nearly gets into Justin Vandermarl. Yeah, it really does make them quicker because you're shedding weight, right? Anything in weight reduction helps you go a little bit quicker, and that's how that worked out. Tally was issued to the 35 at Joe Francis, by the way. That did pop up on your screen not too long ago. As you see, David Tooker leading Tyler Fode, Matthew Weeks, John Cutlip, Seth Rawls, the top 5, Tyler Popp, Josh Robin, Chad Frankenfield, Scott Crump, and Ethan Stanley. Crump and Frankenfield, of course, do have a bit of history, so if Crump wants his payback, I guess tonight might be one of those nights where he can really do some damage and keep Chad out of the playoffs.
Yeah, and it just dawned on me we have no Wyatt out here tonight, so no Huck Machine.
So, unfortunately, I'm going to give a shout out to Wyatt. He unfortunately was attacked by a dog and has some pretty extensive damage on his arm. So, best wishes to Wyatt, hoping for a speedy recovery, and
Well, you got to
hope
give
to
us
see him
the
back out here
story
soon.
now.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he was fighting the dog over some kibbles and bits or something, and the dog went for a bit of a chunk out of Wyatt and got his
Well,
way.
the next time you tell a story, he wasn't attacked by a dog. He was attacked by a mountain lion, and all it did was hurt his arm. You should see
Yeah,
the
you
mountain
know,
lion.
Chad. Wyatt was at the beach and shark decided to take a chunk out of him, but you should really see that shark. He's turned into a minnow at this point. As you see, David Tooker chasing down Gerald Campbell here. Gerald currently the last car on the lead lap, P22. Just had a bit of a solo spin not too long ago. Did not bring out a caution, but Gerald's still on the racetrack trying to hold off the leader, see if he can stay on the lead lap, or if he does get past, he's going to try to stick right with them. Here comes David Tooker on the bottom. Gerald Campbell to the top. So Gerald now one lap down, gets back in line behind David Tooker. Tyler Fode just behind him. As we look a little bit further back, we see Michael Goodman in the 12th position, trying to chase down 11th place Ty McIntosh and 10th place Josh Robin here. So Goody looking for a bit of top 10 action here at Martinsville.
Goody entered this race 18 points to good. This will definitely help his cause if it stays.
You know, tonight really has not been overly rewarding to a lot of those guys that were on the outside looking in. David Tooker, Tyler Fode, of course, already up there. Matthew Weeks, one that's, if he can last here tonight, with nose damage, you really never know. One more impact, it could be catastrophic when it comes to engine damage. So Matthew Weeks, if he's able to stay clean, I think he's going to have a good opportunity to make the playoffs here. John Cutlip, of course, already up there. One heck of a rookie season for him, replacing Josh Clark this season in the number 28 Wawa machine. And Tyler Popp as well, Chad Frankenfield. Chad, I think, is still on the outside looking in at this point.
Yeah, with Weeks up there, right? Weeks was... It's him
Because
versus
Garrison's in a wild card spot, I do believe, as a winner in the series. So that would just leave one spot, and Weeks currently would be about 4 points ahead of Chad at this point in the race. So Chad
If
gonna
Chad
need
knows
to
that, we might have some contact between those two at some point.
absolutely. I mean, put yourself in Chad's shoes here, Chris and Brent.
I mean, he does already have a tally too, so you kind of can't.
That's also a good point. So put yourself in anyone's shoes that's not Chad with a tally. If it comes down to it and you have a guy, say Gerald Campbell, that you're battling for the last playoff spot, and the risk is a tally, the reward is a playoff spot, do you go for it?
It depends on how much I like the guy and on who it is.
If you don't like the guy?
If I don't like the guy, then yeah, you're going to go for it. But
Say
if I like
it's
the guy,
say it's Nick Massey ahead of you. I know you don't like him very much.
if it's Nick Massey, I'm going to race him clean straight up. Nick would do the same for me.
Oh
But
man,
yeah, it obviously depends on the scenario.
that's not what you told me off camera. There's Scott going to the inside of Chad. This might get interesting. Scott backs out of it. Chad just keeps like liking to chase these guys down to the apron here at Martinsville.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting what happens here.
Oh, contact. Scott Crump into the back of Chad Frankenfield.
Maybe we'll just see how far he can take it before he hits a cone. I don't know.
Now, Chad cannot afford to get into the back of the 25 and spin him. Oh, 25's around. We're going to get a yellow.
Seth Rawls goes around. Uh-oh.
Oh, there was some contact right there.
Uh-oh.
Oh, but the 25 hit the curb. But I don't know how Nick's going to rule this.
Let's see here.
Nick could rule it that the contact put the 25 on the curb. Or he could rule
There's
the
the contact from Chad. That upsets the 25 car, I do believe. And then Chad gets contact from Crump, but I think I'm leaning more towards a racing deal on that one.
I think if I was Nick,
But that might be on the 15
I would rule that on the 15 and force him to
appeal.
Yeah, because it's right there.
It's a really tough one for sure. We're 50 laps to go here at Martinsville in the Black Magic Designs 175. We're going to take our final commercial break, and when we come back, we'll take you all the way to the finish here in the final regular season race of 2023A. This is the RebilasPhoto.com Grand National Series.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
We are back here in the Black Magic Designs 175. You just heard from iRacing.com as well as TA Services. Of course, tonight, the Black Magic Designs 175. Black Magic Designs is a small team of custom iRacing car painters and photographers dedicated to a quality customer experience. With paint starting as low as $15 per car, find us on Facebook or Discord. Black Magic Designs, where the paint is worth 2/10. Worldwide Technology Raceway is a motorsport racing facility in Madison, Illinois, just east of St. Louis, Missouri, featuring a 1.25-mile oval, 2-mile road course, quarter-mile drag strip, and a state-of-the-art karting facility known as the Kartplex. Check out Worldwide Technology Raceway today. As well, Blue Egg Marketing is the marketing department for small businesses. Small business owners, Blue Egg is your biggest fan. Back down on the racetrack, we just heard here, tally issued to the 15 of Chad Frankenfield. He will appeal and be able to continue, but one more tally, and that is an automatic parking of the 15 machine. And if it is found that Chad is at fault for the incident, of course, he will be placed at the rear of the field and get minimal points. So a lot still on the line here, guys.
I think Race Control did a great job with that, because you cannot overturn something that is deemed a racing incident, but you can overturn a tally. I personally think that tally will get overturned and he will be cleared, but I think that is.
Ooh, Tyler Pop slides up a little bit. 100%, Chris.
And we got the 14. Oh, wreck back here.
Hunter Smith goes around here. Looks like multiple vehicles involved in that wreck. You see it's the 54 there, Hunter Smith, just ahead of David Tooker. Tooker into the 54 of Smith. Smith goes around off of that contact. Heavy contact in the outside wall. Gerald Campbell does grab a small piece of that incident there. Small piece of the pie. But up front again, it's Chad and Scott. Scott Crump there, P2. Tyler Popp, 3rd. Ethan Stanley, 4th. Tyler Fody, 5th. Matthew Weeks, Josh Robin, John Cutlip, Ty McIntosh, and Seth Rawls, the top 10. Now, Chris, you mentioned, obviously, that it's a good call by race control. I totally agree. And I think when it does get to the administrators later on tonight, when that goes under vote, it will most likely be overturned and turned into a racing deal. But like you said, you kind of have to cover your bases, which is exactly what Nick Massey did. That's a great call, a great way of proceeding with that. And you know, it'll be interesting to see. Obviously, it could go either way. But to me, that's a racing deal. It's unfortunate. It happens.
I know you can't speak like you have because you are part of that group, but I am not, so I will speak candidly about what I would do. I like the call, like you said. I personally, if I had a vote, I would vote racing deal. I'd get the tally. I would overturn the tally. But I think as race control, that is the way to call it because you can't go backwards. Once you make it a racing deal, you can't look at it after and say, "Oh, what's a tally?" So I think that's the proper way to proceed, and that's the way I think. You know, we see Nick doing it that way tonight. He's the admin of this race, but all the admins for all the series, I would personally love it if that's the way we move to, and you get an appeal, so you don't. It's not like that second tally is the end of it.
You're exactly right on that, Chris, and I totally agree with you. I think Brent Jones would as well. I think that's the best way to proceed.
Yep, indeed.
Now, looking at the field here, guys, obviously we have a couple guys up towards the front that have some heavy damage, a couple missing noses, a couple missing rear ends. Do you think any of the guys in the top 3 right now take home the victory tonight? That's an easy yes or no.
I do not. I think somebody who's got tires comes up and gets the victory.
Brent Jones?
No chance at this point.
I'm going to say no, mostly because I think the top 3 are going to wreck each other.
And tires have just meant so much tonight. I'm very surprised how much new tires have meant.
Look at how well Chad worked his way through on the new tires. And to point out, if he was to pit now, I don't know that he has as much of an opportunity to get back to the front.
Oh, yeah, I think at this point, Chad's made his bet.
You have to stay out. Now, looking down at the racetrack, the pace car has gone to pit road. Scott Crump on the outside. Chad Frankfield on the bottom is the control car here. Chad will bring them down to the Geico restart zone. Gets on the loud pedal. Green flag, and we are back underway for the 15. Kicking the tires machine of Chad Frankenfield. Chad able to get out in front as we look a little bit further back. Watching the field cycle through. Hunter Smith gets moved up the racetrack just a little bit. Contact brewing here between Tyler Popp and Scott Crump. Here comes Tyler Fody to the inside. 3 wide. My. This, wow. This has worked out so far. Wow. Fody has to clear the 13. He does. There goes Fody. Popp gives him enough room. That's a great move by Popp there. Not to get into the back of Tyler Fody. Chad Frankfield does have a bit of a gap, 4/10, but that is quickly going away here. Scott Crump has gotten to the bottom. Tyler Fody now about to be set free once he clears Ethan Stanley. Gonna have to work his way to the bottom of Scott Crump, and Crump closes that door rather rapidly. A little bit of a nudge there by Fody just to say, hey, Scott, I'm here. I'm ready to go.
And Scott's taking a look on the inside of Chad there.
Hunter Smith comes down pit road. He has parked it. Just for you folks keeping track at home, Andrew Hardcastle just had a bit of a drop through the field. Here comes Scott Crump looking at Chad Frankenfield. He's ready to pounce and make his move. As Tyler Fody battles side by side with Ethan Stanley for 3rd.
Is Scott on
nudge.
Tires?
There we go. Scott Crump.
And there it is.
Is Scott on tires?
Scott Crump, Chad Frankfield, last pit lap 92. Oh!
Oh, there it is! Oh my goodness!
I don't know if I'd be doing that. Guys, you know how this is going to go here if that 90 gets back to the 15. There's no way.
I can't believe Chad would do that with the 2 tallies.
You know,
I mean, at this point, he's playing
Chris,
house 20
I'm going to
regardless.
channel my inner you here for a second. That was a brain dead move right there. That was absolutely stupid. You have 2 tallies, 1 you're appealing right now, and you know a 3rd tally will automatically take you out of the race. You're battling for the final playoff position. Why in the world
With the
would
guy
you
you're
do
side
that?
by side with now.
Exactly, and you're on old tires. So what he just did is he hindered his performance even more, put a bigger roadblock ahead, and now he's basically taking himself out of an opportunity to race for a playoff spot. I don't understand the thought process from the 15 right there. That was...
Oh, the 90's around. Caution is going to come out.
There goes Scott Crump. He's around.
It's going in reverse. I think his car is stuck in gear.
Guys, I gotta wonder if something happens here in just a moment. I really wonder if Scott's gonna maybe give Chad a little bit of a hello. I'm gonna watch that 90 car here, but I just don't understand the 15. I'm just mind blown.
I get playing of house money, but that's the easiest way to lose it right there.
You're playing with house money when all you got is a penny, but like, I don't know. I don't know, guys. Let's take a look at the Rebilas photo replay machine, see what happened to Scott Crump there.
I believe there's going to be contact from the 01.
Contact with Ty McIntosh.
And it's going to look like netcode because one's missing a front bumper and one's missing a rear bumper. But that is actual contact. That's in contact there.
Scott goes around there. Chad does come down pit road, just an FYI. So what's going to be interesting is there's a good chance that he ends up with Scott Crump on the racetrack on this restart. And we know Chad, when his car is handling well, can work his way up pretty quickly through the field on the high side. Kynan Jones getting another wave around there. Kynan sticking it out back on the lead lap here.
Good to see Kynan out there tonight. I don't think he ran the last event. I think we ran in this series.
I think he missed last week. Chad on the racetrack here. Tyler Pop. I just want to point out one thing here, guys. The 90 is going to restart right behind the 15 on this restart. Because Kynan Jones currently scored 2 positions behind Chad. He's going to fall back because he just got a wave around. So that'll move Scott Crump up into the 20th position, which will restart just behind Chad on the outside. So, unlike usual restarts, I think we're going to watch the 18th and 20th position just to see if anything happens back there. Because you have to remember, not only did Chad knock Scott Crump out of the way, but by moving Crump out of the way, that put Crump in position to get involved in the incident that he was just involved in. So it kind of went from bad to worse for the 90, and the 90's not going to be too happy with that whatsoever. I know I wouldn't. I don't think either of you would. So I think something might heat up here.
I'm surprised the 90 didn't find some way to spin that car out after the contact, knowing what that would cause, what that would do.
Yeah, I think something's coming here, though. I can feel it.
You know, after the contact, pop that thing down to 3rd gear, loop it around, be like, hey, you spun me out, dude. With their history is why I say that. Like, I wouldn't just do that to somebody because they had 2 tallies, but with their history, I'm surprised that didn't float through Scott's mind there about making sure he 360'd that thing down there. We got 1 to go. It's going to be 25 laps. Chad's on tires. Josh Robin is on tires. Scott Crump is on tires. It's going to be very interesting back here. It's going to be very interesting at the front as well.
Scott Crump already getting ready to give that number 15 a bit of a hello. Watch down into turn 1 here. Here goes Crump to the inside of Chad Frankenfield, Joe Campbell.
Oh, Chad's into the back of the 21.
Chad into the 21. There's the 90. Chad 3 wide into Gerald. Watch the 90 here. Here's his opportunity. Chad forcing 3 wide. Here comes Chad on the outside of Gerald Campbell. Scott Crump looking to the
Chad self spins.
Saves it.
Oh, he saved it. Wow.
I was just
Oh,
about to
he's
say,
still
Gerald's
catching it, guys.
playing-
He's still catching it.
I was about to say, Gerald's trying to play peacekeeper here. And
I want to point something out here. Look who's running 8th right now. That's Michael Goodman right there. Up inside
Heck
the top
yeah.
10. Goody. Look at that beard, though. That thing's beautiful.
I don't want to talk about that beard. He told me what he does to that beard there before the
You-
race. We can't get into that.
We're not talking about that. Look at Josh Adams. He's back up there as well. Chad Frankenfield back. He's trying, man. He's in 19th now. Scott Crump working his way up around Josh Robin, Gerald Campbell. Tyler Fody leading over Ethan Stanley, Matthew Weeks,
Chad
John
Frankenfield
Cutlet.
just went backwards. Just to point that out.
Chad currently under pressure from Tyler Pop. Garrison Hogan up ahead there. Garrison is, I do believe, a lap down on Chad. Ooh, someone's barbecuing on pit road there. Tyler Fody under pressure here. Here's Ethan Stanley in second place. 20 laps to go at Martinsville. Battles on Jake Kaner, Casey Hatch battling for the 16th position. Ooh,
that sounded loud.
that was loud. I'm not sure what happened there. I think it was the car that was barbecuing on pit road. Brent might have burnt the steaks just a little bit.
Oh, Gerald Campbell just had something happen down into turn 3, and he just lost his front clip when he hit the wall.
Gerald, no front clip on that thing. Here's Chad still stuck back there. Scott Crump almost back to the top 10. He gets by David Carpenter. Now has his eyes set on the 22 of Andrew Hardcastle. Watch for him to work his way back into the top 10 before this thing's over.
He's looking underneath the 01 here.
Sandcastle, the inside of McIntosh. Crump looking to the inside of Hardcastle.
Oh, Hardcastle going to throw a big block there.
Crump into
I
the
think
back of McIntosh.
some of these guys might want to recognize that these guys are on tires here that are coming.
Yeah, this might get really bad really quick if they don't start.
Side by side
Robin
for
is
second.
on tire.
Right here, Matthew Weeks, Ethan Stanley. Weeks needs a good finish tonight, and if he can finish where he is right now, that's one heck of a finish for him. Still side by side. John Cutlip joining the battle now with Weeks and Stanley. Cutlip to the bottom of Stanley. Stanley falling back now, side by side
Ooh,
for third.
Hardcastle gets down into turn 1 too hard on the rears.
Oh, too hard into the castle. Nearly
He's gonna
contact
save it
from Josh
again.
Robin. Josh Robin looking like an old style Mustang out there.
I've heard the term 3 doors down, but I've never heard of it of 3 trunks down.
I think everyone's down a trunk as Scott Crump back up into the top 10. Ty McIntosh loses a bunch of spots. I think he got moved out of the way by Scott Crump.
I don't know. Something's broke on that car. I think.
McIntosh
Yeah, he's slow.
exceptionally slow on the racetrack. I don't know that he's going to make it around. Alt F4. Scott Crump Tyler McIntosh done for the night right there. Now Scott Crump looking on the inside of Michael Goodman. Move Crump up into the 9th position as we look a
Ooh,
few
the
spots
15. I wonder if the
back.
15 got into the 13, and now
Oh,
the 13's turned the favorite.
Ooh.
No caution, but they lose all their track position once again.
No caution, but Chad, every time he seems to gain something, just throws it back away. Here's Jake Adams back on the racetrack. Kudos to him for trying to continue on. Of course, multiple laps down. Spent about 10 minutes.
Oh, the 13's
on
not
the road.
done with the 15 yet. He just took another shot down there into 3.
I think a couple guys are mad right now at that 15 car.
The 13's one of them. Man,
He's
is
going,
still
man.
trying.
He's going. He's going. Tyler
Man, I don't
Pop.
know what Chad
I think
did
if
to him,
Gerald wasn't there, I think Chad would have been around by now.
How nice of Gerald to play peacekeeper now in 2 different incidents now.
Is Gerald playing Peacekeeper or Poop Disturber?
Oh, the 13's going to take it.
I don't know
They're
what
gonna
you just
three
said, but that
wide.
sounded funny. As
They're
we're coming to
three
10
wide.
there go. Tyler Pop. He just popped off. Oh, he's sending it. He's going.
Oh,
What
and
is
that's
he
big
doing?
about
Oh,
it.
it's all falling apart.
That 13 is seeing red. Chad, I don't know what.
Who's
Chad
he
must
mad
have
at?
all his Easter candy or something.
Chad ate all the good candy. There's no bunnies left in his basket. As Tyler Fode leading the race by about a second over John Cutlip. 9 laps to go. David Tooker third, Matthew Weeks fourth, Ethan Stanley fifth. Josh Adams, Scott Crump up there. Seth Rawls, Johnny Thomas, Josh Robin, the top 10. Scott Crump's on an absolute tear right now as Chad's getting torn back here. Currently in 17th. Chad, I don't know, Chad kind of stepped on his own here tonight, boys.
Yeah. The 13 just finally wrecked one.
Oh, Kynan just... Oh.
He's been trying to wreck somebody for a while. He finally got one.
Taking a look here, Kynan Jones involved in this one. Yeah, Tyler Pop, I think, was just, like you said, seeing red here tonight.
I
don't understand what in the world was going on with him, but...
I thought it was just Chad, but then
I thought it was Chad, but I think
else.
maybe he ate his own Easter candy. And he's too hyped up on sugar right now. I think we're coming down to a green, white, checkered here, though, boys.
I think it should be about 3 or 4 to go, I believe. 2, 3 maybe. I don't think it's still 6 to go in regulation.
This is going to be interesting. I don't think Chad can get a top 10 here unless he barrels his way through, which
I think at this
not out of the
point-
question, but
I think at this point it would take Zeus getting taken out or Weeks. I mean, for any chance of Chad getting in this thing now.
guys, this is
20
interesting.
guy. Go on.
I was just saying it's interesting how this race has developed late. A lot of angry people and just a lot of drama.
I did tweet before the race. I was expecting some hurt feelings tonight for these playoff spots.
Tally issued to the 13 of Tyler Pop. Nick Massey, you didn't even need to make that call, buddy. That was obvious. As we see the 13 of Pop back here just behind Chad. So, you know, if Tyler Pop was mad at Chad Frankfield, now's his chance. I mean, he's not going to lose much if he gets parked at this point. Not going to gain much by staying out. So, if you're mad, I guess now's time to get your payback. Four laps to go. It will be a green, white, checker, guys. Are we 2 to green right now, Chris?
Yes, we will be getting 1 to go this time.
So this will be a natural green, white, checkered finish, meaning we still have 3 attempts at overtime if needed, or when needed. All right, I'm going to ask this question now, guys. What are the odds that we do go green to the end on this restart?
None. There's.
I say the odds are better than we think. I think we do it. Unless somebody just like Chad just sends it down in here knowing that his season's on the line, I think we do it because I think Matthew Weeks knows what he needs. They know they're not probably going to beat Fode. Tooker's a very clean racer, so Tooker's probably not going to send it. I think it would have to be somebody around Chad or back there that would just have to drive in way too deep. So I think we finish as pace car is off.
Pace car is indeed off. Tyler Fode enters the Geico restart zone. Slow restart there. Stacks them up.
Oh, John
Cutlip has a bit of a wheel spin. Matthew Weeks falls back just a little bit. We're going to go out to our drone camera here to grab the last couple moments here. Scott Crump to the inside of Weeks. Crump sends it on the inside.
And that's tires for Crump.
Tyler Fode comes around. White flag in the air. Kynan Jones did have another incident there.
Hatch and,
Tyler Pop, Casey Hatch involved. We do stay green. It looks like Tyler Fode going to do what he always does and grab a victory here in the Rebilas Photography Grand National Series. David Tooker comes home second. John Cutlip third. Ethan Stanley fourth.
And
Scott
Rebilas is
Crump
across the line in the wall
top
hard.
5. Scott Crump gets 5th there. Looks like Matthew Weeks will grab the last playoff spot. Michael Goodman just misses a top 10 in 11th. And Chad Frankenfield comes home in 16th, guys. Tyler Fode going to do some celebrating here at Martinsville.
Didn't one of us pick him pre-race?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, I don't think so. That's not how I remember it.
No, it was definitely me, 100%.
But yeah, that was an exciting race. We had some green flag runs there in the middle of it, and Chad Frankenfield ultimately will miss out on the playoffs here, and Matthew Weeks did what he needed to survive and make them.
As we see our race results on screen here, Brent Jones, why don't you walk us through the final order here tonight?
Alrighty, we have Tyler Fode once again winning in that our Blue Egg Marketing 40 car. Then we got, or his. Then we got John Cutlip hung down there despite the wheels fell in the last restart for a podium. Ethan Stanley came back from a moment there at the pit entrance there at one point, exit one point for 4th, and Crump 5th, 6th. Matthew Weeks, who I would think based on the math, solid locked a spot in, but we'll have to wait and see. 7th, Joshua Adams. 8th, Seth Rawls. 9th, Johnny Thomas. 10th, Seth Josh Robin. And what a run from Michael Goodman to all but clinch his way into the chase. What a story for him.
Yeah, Goody's in. He came in 18 up, and that 11th place is going to do it for him. Great run for him. Matthew Weeks did what he needed to do. Great recoveries for Stanley, like you said. Great recovery for Johnny Thomas, Josh Adams as well. And ultimately, Tyler Fode and David Tooker 1-2, and they were the cleanest cars out here. No surprise, right, boys? I mean, if you'd have told me Fode Tooker 1-2 tonight with the cleanest cars, I'd have said that would have worked out pretty good.
Yep. They said
100% here as we see our top 3 slowly joining the booth here. I'm going to send it down to Chris Wright and Brent Jones for our 3rd place interview with John Cutlip.
Jonathan Cutlip did what you needed to do tonight. You had a clean race. I just left you out of those front 2 as I was talking about how clean they were, but your car was pretty clean. You guys all 3 stayed pretty clean, ran up at the front, played the right strategy. Tell us a little bit about your night, how you got the track position, and then what it was like out there on those late laps and the ultimate final restart to keep your track position and put this thing on the podium.
Our night was actually pretty calm. Unfortunately, didn't really get a good qualifying lap and start 21st, but was just trying to make my way up through the field slowly but surely, just trying to avoid, all the chaos that was going on around us. The final restarts, it was pretty tame. Restarting second, it was a little greasier than I thought it was going to be, and almost took the field out, but I'm glad I didn't. Was able to rebound up to 3rd.
You mentioned that you started in the back, and then a couple times tonight we had pretty big pack accidents, one right on a restart. What was it like working that traffic at the start, and how aggressive were you? And then where were you when all heck broke loose down there in turn 1 and the parking lot happened?
It's terrifying restarting midfield at Martinsville because the front end is starting to break back to you, and the back half of the field is still starting to lunge into the corners, so you're just stuck in the sandwich there. It's scary because you just start to hear tires sliding and just metal on metal, and you're just trying to avoid what's going down.
Well, I will throw it over to Brent. Brent, you got any questions here for Jonathan?
yeah. What goes across your mind when you're out there and with these different strategies out there, especially what we saw tonight with everyone mixing up the way they did?
It's something to keep an eye on for sure. Tires were definitely making a big difference. We definitely wanted to take a set of tires where get the longest stint on it, because the end of the races sometimes start to turn into a bunch of restarts. So we just wanted to try to get track position back up towards that. But it's definitely something that you have to stay on top of, because if you're taking tires too late, you're just going to get stuck in traffic and it's impossible to get back up.
Yes, sir. Is there anyone we want to shout out or anybody you want to mention? Sponsors?
I want to thank Ethan Burrell and Trey Holmes. They were huge for me tonight. I was struggling in practice, and they were giving me pointers, and it was super helpful. I couldn't have done this without them.
Indeed.
Well,
Good
John,
luck.
congratulations on your third place finish here tonight, and best of luck in the playoffs.
Thank you. Hopefully we get a good run into it.
Absolutely. Actually, just before we let you go, is there any race on the playoff schedule that you have circled on your calendar?
I'm actually not sure what the schedule is. I've just been taking it week by week.
Does
but,
nobody look at the calendar? You're the second person to say this tonight.
Really?
Yeah, 100%.
I'm hoping that we just get a good, solid, playoff in.
We're going to Martinsville and Bristol. We're going to alternate every week.
Well, I've never raced Bristol. Then again, I've never raced Martinsville before, but came out with the top 3. I'm just hoping for a clean playoffs. Not really, expecting too much. Not sure how it's going to go, but I'm hoping we're in it at the end. It'd be nice.
Absolutely. That's John Cutlip, your third place finisher here tonight in the Black Magic Designs 175. Well, guys, David Tucker came home second here tonight, and he's standing by with you both for his runner-up interview.
Well, Tucker, another P2 here. Another podium. Getting ready for this big playoff run. Is there anything that you had for Fody there, or are you just happy to get out of here with a clean race car, a clean race, solid race, and move on and start the playoffs?
Chris, I'm kind of mixed feelings on it. With Martinsville, it's usually a struggle with cautions, and we didn't really get that tonight. We ran green for about 30 or 25, 30 laps every run, which was honestly really nice. That was really cool to finally get a long green flag run in and get in a rhythm at Martinsville, because I love racing here. I absolutely love driving in this place. I could sit here and drive around here for hours and have a mass amount of fun. So to finally get a green flag Martinsville, or somewhat of a green flag Martinsville race is awesome. But I am mixed feelings on it, because I sped, or not even sped, I got a commitment line violation on pit road, which ultimately took me out of it. I went into the pits as the leader and came out last behind the wave-around cars, so I had to work my way up through the field, started behind the wave-around guys, and just had to be patient. I know I still had laps to go. It was just a matter of it was going to be green or if it was going to be yellow, and I needed it to go green there, and it went green long enough to get me into the top 10, and from there it was just restart plotting, being patient, knowing when to take it 3 wide, knowing who you can take it 3 wide on. It was just a lot of reading, a lot of studying of the guys around you, and really happy that I could get through the field cleanly and finish up P2. I will definitely take that.
Yeah, now we move on to the playoffs. What is your outlook on the playoffs here moving forward? And are there any tracks that you cannot wait to get to, or that you kind of wish weren't in the playoffs?
I look forward to the playoffs every year. I think B Series is definitely, or Mark Rebilas Xfinity Series is definitely the Grand National Series. Sorry, jeez, I messed it up twice. That's definitely my favorite car to drive, and I have really adapted to the ovals. I feel over the past year and a half, I've definitely made some progress. I went from running top 8, top 7 to top 5, top 3. So it's been really nice to be running up front at the ovals. But I think my outlook on the chase is to just keep my expectations low, because the moment you start expecting things and putting pressure on yourself is when you crack. So I tend to just my whole thing is to just lock in. As soon as that race starts, lock in. Keep calm, keep the energy low, and just keep fighting. This chase has a lot of really tough competitors in it. A lot of from my team, and of my affiliates, so that's going to be pretty tough to work through. But we also got some fast guys over at Lake Norman and 90 with Scott Crump and some other guys. But we're looking forward to it. There's a couple races I'm definitely looking forward to, but other than that, I think the goal is to just be consistent, get some top 5, top 10 finishes, if not some podiums and some wins. That would be really nice, but we'll just have to wait and see until we get there.
Well, congrats on the run, Tucker. I'll send you over to Brent, see what kind of questions Brent has for you.
Alrighty. I'm trying to figure out one myself, but what does this track do, like as far as the ebbs and flows of emotions? Do you just leave them at the gate, or you just try to go with it like any other race?
Brent, I think you could speak on this probably the best. Martinsville is the definition of a roller coaster as far as emotions, especially when you're deep in the pack and you're trying to work your way through. I think that was the most important part of the race, was just keeping a level head, because if you allow your emotions to control you in the race, it kind of just lets you, or takes you out of focus. It doesn't let you really push as hard as you can, or sometimes it makes you push even harder than you should. So I try my hardest to leave the emotions at the gate. Sometimes you run into guys who race you a little harder than you'd like, or run you a little dirty. You run into those guys, but it's how you choose to handle it. I personally, how you race me is how I'm going to race you. I've always wanted to make sure my respect and reputation is higher. So I think it depends. Martinsville. I'm not the guy that's going to go down there and wreck somebody, but there is plenty of guys who will move you out of the way. I'm not going to go down there and block you, but if you block me, I can't guarantee you're going to make it through the corner. So that's just my outlook on it.
Yeah, that sounds like the right mentality to have. And coming from experience, you are absolutely right on that, by the way. Is there anyone you want to shout tonight? Sponsors, people, etc.?
Yeah, everybody at the Pro Edge Racing Garage. This team, it's hard to explain the dynamic of this team because it's very different than any other team I've had the opportunity of working with. It's a lot of our friends, a lot of close friends from over 10 years plus. Brent, you're a part of our group. You've seen the dynamic of how it works.
Yep.
And it's just it's a great group of people. We're all here to help each other get better. So everybody at the Pro Edge Racing Garage, everybody, all our affiliates, all of our sponsors, JD Designs especially. He's built, or not built, he's painted our cars. I wish he'd probably build some really cool cars too, but he's painted our cars, all of the Pro Edge Racing cars, all of my cars, and has made such beautiful work for us to represent every single season, every single race. So huge shout out to him and his company. I appreciate him for what he does for me, and also his friendship throughout the 10 plus years that I've known him. So a really great guy over there at JD Designs. If you need a paint scheme, he's your guy. Like I said, everybody at Pro Edge, all of our elite admin, everybody at Elite, all you guys up here in the booth, everybody it's all in-house stuff. So really appreciate everybody taking their time to make this thing run as well as it does. Everybody has a hand in this, and it's really cool to see how far this league has come, and glad to be a part of it.
I got one more question for you, Tucker.
What's your question?
Where's Tate? Where's he been?
Tate, Tate's a teacher, so he's having to work during the day most of the time. So, and he lives over on the West Coast, so the races literally start at 4:30, which is right when he's getting off work. So most of the time he's either driving home, depending on the traffic, he can either race or he can't race. But he's been kind of busy with his golf teaching and his classes and his students. So he's out there living life, to say the least.
Well, you just make sure and you relay the message that we have a seat up here if he wants to join us. I don't care if there's 3, 4 of us up here. We will make room for Tate. So we missed him out here. Haven't seen too much of him. And congrats on your run once again and the starting of the playoffs here. So we look forward to seeing you and Fody obviously go at it. And maybe somebody will sneak up from the pack. I know Matthew Weeks got in tonight, and he's a guy that has a lot of speed as well. So it's going to be interesting to see the playoffs and how things shake out over the next several weeks. But congrats to you on second place tonight. We will see you next week from somewhere.
Alrighty, guys. Thank you.
All right, now we're joined by race winner, my boss man, Tyler Fody. Out here led 93 laps, dominated this race. Nobody had nothing for you, right, Fody?
Right, yeah. If you look on paper, it might seem that way, but it was not.
Well, take me through your night. Tell me about how it started. Obviously, getting the pole, that was probably pretty pivotal to having the track position at the start. And take us through everything that led to you having the track position at the end.
Yeah, well, I was, like you said, qualifying was super important. just historically when we've run here, it's all about track position. So we got that out of the way, and then we started off a little shaky as far as the green runs. I think we had a 5-lap, a 10-lap, something like that. And I was basically just running Q laps every time on those short runs, just making sure I maintained first. And then all of a sudden we got like a 40-lap run out of nowhere, which totally caught me out. And that's when Crump and Tooker kind of ran me down. I didn't really have any tires left, which honestly I thought I had given it away at that point. And we just kind of settled in there. We got a yellow shortly after, but Crump stayed out, which really surprised me after that long run, which kind of flipped the pit strategy between us. I was following Tooker. And yeah, we had a little battle back through the old tires. Some more stuff happened. Tooker seemed to be honestly the car to beat overall once we got going. And I was kind of just mimicking him the second half of the race, and he had his pit road issue. I guess he just clipped a cone on exit, which really sucks for him. Because I would have looked forward to having a nice battle with him at the end. But at that point, it kind of handed it back into our favor. I still had to drive through the old tires, though, which was not an easy task, especially considering Chad and Crump were 1-2 at the time, trying to take each other's bumpers off right in front of me. And we had to make a 3-wide move. But overall, we got through all that, kept it clean, and from there, it was just pretty much straightforward, holding on to the lead.
Yeah, now you've won this race here, going into the playoffs. You've got to be the favorite at this point to win the playoffs. What are you looking forward to about these playoffs, and what maybe are you not so much looking forward to, and what do you think you need to do to be able to be the champion here in, 8 weeks' time?
Yeah, well, we got to get through the early stages here. I remember glancing at the rounds a while back, and I remember I really liked the second round, and I love Vegas as the title race, but the first round being New Hampshire, I'm not a big fan of that. And then you got Talladega, I think, after that, or the road course. It's one or the other. It's just kind of a weird round that could really go either way, and you can definitely gain or lose a lot of points. So I think getting through the first round will be key, and then just kind of maintaining and locking down a spot in the final race.
Well, I did bring it up here because I told Tooker we'll see him next week from somewhere. And so just so you know, we got New Hampshire, Watkins Glen, Talladega, and then Charlotte, Wilkesboro, and Darlington. And then we end up Vegas. So you mentioned Talladega and New Hampshire being struggles, but you're pretty good at the road courses, right? So you can lean on Watkins Glen.
Yeah, you like to think so, but you never know what can happen. You still got to go out there and run the laps. But yeah, we can just get through cleanly on the first round. I think we'll be all right to point our way to the final.
Well, all right, I will hand you off to Brent here. See what Brent has for you.
Alrighty. When you saw those guys like Crump and Chad battling, did that end up making it a lot easier for you, or did you just decide to fight for it there towards the end there?
Yeah, well, it was honestly pretty scary. Probably the worst moment of the whole race for me. It ended up being a pretty easy pass, but leading up to that, I was watching Chad drive in and use up Crump, and then Crump used Chad up, and it was like, oh man, if anything goes wrong, I'm the first one that's going to be here to see it. Fortunately, they honestly moved each other, but they were clean for the most part about it, and they ended up just moving each other right up out of the way of everybody. So it ended up working out, but yeah, before that it was very tense, and I was worried about getting taken out there.
Yep, that's always a worry on anyone's mind. Is there anyone you want to shout out, sponsors, people?
Yeah, well, my teammate here, Josh Robin, had a quiet night, but he snuck in another top 10. He's got to have, I think, half the races here. He's got top 10s just quietly doing his thing. And he's pretty solidly into the playoffs too. So huge shout out to him. I look forward to making a playoff run with him as these next couple of races come up. And then, as always, shout out to Blue Egg Marketing for being on the car, Hux, Pit Pass Network, KMP Graphics for painting it. Shout out to you guys for being in the booth. It's always awesome to see you up here again, Brent.
Actually, I'd like to interrupt you for a second. You have finished no worse than second now in the 3 races I've been in the booth now.
I think it's you. You ought to stay here the rest of the season, I think.
There's some critics who will have a say in that, but we'll just keep that on ourselves.
Yeah. Well, I look forward to hopefully talking to y'all next week.
Well, alrighty, Fody. Congrats on the win. We'll see you next week, like I said, from the first race of the playoffs here at New Hampshire. But later this week on the Elite Racing Network, you'll be in action tomorrow night for the All-Star race and also the 600 on Wednesday night, full distance race. That should be fun. Find that all here, the Elite Racing Network, the rest of the week. And congrats on the win, Fody. And go and find this championship, I guess, right?
That's the plan. Thank you.
Well, guys, that was our race winner, Tyler Fody, here tonight. Once again, victorious at the Martinsville Speedway. Just before we do wrap it up here, guys, Brent, Chris, any final comments from you?
I am absolutely surprised on how this race went. I'm not the drama part, obviously, but these guys actually gave a lot of respect and a lot of take out there tonight. And we usually see these Martinsville races go hand in a handbasket, redacted in a handbasket. And tonight the entire field prevented to do that. So kudos to everybody in the field tonight. That was a fun race to watch from up here.
Yeah, it was easily the best Martinsville race, I think, in a long time. We had a little bit of the lack of yellows was because they just weren't thrown. We had cars wrecked that, they just they held that flag there. So maybe this is a new thing, new trend we'll see. Not so many yellows thrown here on the sim, but it was a fun Martinsville race. I thought tires were going to be more important at the end, but instead it was who was clean, as every car except those front 2 or 3 was missing a front clip or a rear clip. And move on to next week at New Hampshire, where we will probably not see that too much because the cars will be hurt if they're missing a front clip or a rear clip.
Absolutely, I couldn't have said that better myself. It was a fun race at Martinsville tonight. The drama that we kind of expected a little bit of came a little bit later, but for the most part, lots of respect, lots of clean racing out there. A little bit of bumping and banging, but that comes with short track racing. But for Black Magic Designs, Blue Egg Marketing, Worldwide Technology, Raceway TA Services, and of course Rebilas Photography, my name is Robert Hill Jr. Joining me as always, Chris Wright, Brent Jones back with us. Thanks to all of you for tuning in at home. Thanks to Chad Frankenfield for putting on a show out there and putting on the Elite Racing League. Thanks to Dave Huckleberry for his support. Thanks to Nick Massey for all of his work as a race controller tonight, and everyone else that makes this thing happen. But for Elite Racing Network, that'll just about do it for us tonight. Join us tomorrow here on the network for the All-Star race. Chris and I will try to battle through the open to work our way into the field. But until then, we'll see you later.
Cheers.